I'm not like unprepared. I'm just like, don't remember what I prepared. And I'm okay with that. I'll go figure it out. It's not the biggest deal in the world. And I just kind of like calm my breath and figure it out as I go. So that was my little moment with you. Okay, I'm gonna go into school now. Good morning and welcome back to the Caffeinated Classroom. If this is your first time here, my name is Marie and I'm a high school English teacher in San Diego, California. And welcome to my Monday morning commute. It's super hazy and gray here in San Diego and we just keep having rainstorm after rainstorm, which I know for many of you around the country and around the world, you're like, cool, no big deal. But like, that's newsworthy for us. So here's what's on the plan for, here's what's on the plan. Anyways, here's what's planned for today. My sophomore English class that I have first period today is going to be finishing up our first book club meeting from last week. The other thing that we are doing today, my freshmen, I'm like 90% sure I signed them up to go to the textbook room in our library and check out their own copy of Mice and Men. But that 10% of unsureness is really nagging at me, so I need to go make sure about that. And then we're gonna start reading. On Friday, I sat during my prep period, as you guys saw at the end of my vlog from Friday, and I made my entire calendar for my 9th graders for our Mice and Men unit. And I left feeling just like high on life, like I'm great, I have so much prepped. And I think that in my head, I assumed I was gonna be going back into my classroom for like an hour or two this weekend, and I super didn't because, you know, I'm getting into the mode of like leave work at work and go home and be present at home with my family. And so now I'm like having a moment of, wait, what did I plan? I know I'm starting the unit. I just can't remember if I'm checking out the books today. And it doesn't really matter because when I get in there, I'll get my sophomore started and then I have time to figure it out. And I have a 15-minute break between my sophomores and my second period, which is where I start teaching freshmen. So it's like not the end of the world. It's just like, whoops. Okay, so what we're going to talk about before we actually start annotating this passage is what I am talking about and what I'm expecting to do when you annotate. How many of you could tell me right now, this is what an annotation is? This is what annotating means. You just raise your hand and be like, I know what an annotation is. Do you want to share? That's okay. Do you want to share? What do you know about annotating a text? So I have to tell you, the reason that I go through all of this is because sometimes the big word of annotating a text is so like intimidating, because I think that students come into a class where they're expected to annotate a text with the idea that you are supposed to highlight all the important things. Does that sound true? Does that sound fair? You start highlighting and taking notes on all the important things. How do you know what's important though? If you're reading a text, how do you know what's important? You need to have a purpose for reading. Without a purpose for reading something, without looking for something specific, annotating a text often just looks like, and this, and I'm gonna, oh, there's some more words. Well, those are quotations, that looks important. I should highlight that, right? And so what often happens is I'll collect an article or I'll collect whatever it is annotated, and it will be more highlighting than not highlighting. Has this been your experience where you're like, well, that sounds important. Well, that said the, it must be important. Well, that had a name. That has to be important too. Because we like don't know what to do, yeah? So, you're not gonna have a whole ton of annotations necessarily, because we're gonna be looking for very specific things that are important to specific ideas. Specifically, we're gonna look for character right now. So, we have a couple pages, 4 pages, from the 2nd chapter of the first Harry Potter book. What we are going to do is read them through, and then we are going to be looking specifically for moments or excerpts from this text that show us characterization. And we'll talk a little bit more about what that means in just a second. We all have something red to write with, correct? Or highlight, so either color pencil or a pink highlighter or something like that. And something that you can actually make notes with in the margin. So a pen or a pencil will work. When we are making annotations, when we're making these notes, when we are breaking down the text, I'm going to give you a purpose for doing that so that we're not just highlighting random things and so you're basically like coloring a page. That's what we don't want. I want you to be able to be smart readers and have a purpose for doing what you're looking for. So we are looking for characterization. How much time do I have? No, I'm good. if we're looking at characterization, what are some things that we are looking for that we know an author is doing to develop character, to basically help us get to know this character, to get to know this person? What do we see in the text? Okay, so we've got characterization, ways to develop characterization. We're looking for physical descriptions, things that the character says, the way that they talk, right? So like actually, is it loud? Is it soft? You can determine a lot about me, my personality, by the way that I talk. I talk fast and I talk very loudly. Narrator's insight, so the narrator describing something that they feel. What else? The character's actions. You ever been, oh yes, go ahead. Their actions, we'll say actions and reactions, sure. So like decisions that they make, things that they do. Have you ever met somebody new, but you've had like somebody that you know introduce you to that person? You always kind of get a description, right? The person that you know, if your friend is introducing you to their friend, they're going to tell you a little bit about their friend before you get introduced. So you know about this new person because of what your friend told you, right? And it gives you a little glimpse into who that person is. So another way is the way that other characters say about the character. Hi there. So, right when I was in the middle of teaching, my camera died because apparently I'm a rookie at this. A year into vlogging, I am a rookie, and I totally forgot to charge my camera battery last night. So sorry about that. I am home now. I actually, super fun, I just recorded a podcast episode, an interview with Kelly Jackson from the Simply Teach podcast, and we had the greatest conversation, and our conversation is gonna come out, the episode, she said is gonna go live in like a couple of months or so. So now I am just baking some cookies for my son's sport, for his lacrosse practice this afternoon, and I'm going to get some work done before my kids get home and the afternoon begins. So I'll check in with you guys in just a little bit. Good? The classroom. This girl of mine is so spunky and silly this afternoon. Well, she's always spunky and silly, but she's especially funny, which tells me that that extra hour of sleep she got this morning, she needed it. She'll be right back. Bye. Anyways, I have been, oh, she's back. I know, caffeinated classroom. I am editing. I have been editing this weekend's vlog. Oh, you know, touch mommy's computer. Let's go in the other room. Been editing this weekend's vlog. I'll say it for the 9th time. And I wanted to fill you guys in on what happened the rest of my day today. So basically, today, my classes were pretty mellow, pretty simple. My sophomores today just finished, like I said earlier, their book club meeting from last week where they were talking about setting, and I will probably tomorrow, I'll go through what their book clubs really look like with you and explain how I do that whole entire process and how it's evolved from what it was earlier this year when I was doing genre-based book clubs with my sophomores last term. This new class, I'm obviously doing this Lord of the Flies unit, and they're these books that are thematically linked to Lord of the Flies that are contemporary or more contemporary novels that students had a choice in, and I'll explain to you like the process and what I'm looking for in their discussion and how that's all going and how I'm adjusting along the way. That'll be tomorrow's vlog. But yeah, today the lesson that you saw me teach was all about the very basics of annotation, and we were talking about like not just highlighting or like underlining for marking's sake, but like real purpose for reading, purpose for marking a text, how then to mark a text like concisely so that you're not just writing a novel in the margins of a novel, and just trying to like really show them how I do that. So I was having them, my students, give me the ideas. We were just looking specifically at characterization, as you saw before, specifically looking for character development and where are the clues, basically, if we're detectives, where are the clues that tell us about these characters. Mommy. Okay, Mommy will hold you. It's dark in the other room. Mommy needs to go turn on the lights, and by that I mean I need to open the windows. You gonna help Mommy? Yeah. So we were talking about, yeah, characterization, like I said, and I had my students tell me the examples, right, the quotes out of the text, or the evidence. That's why I kept kind of interchanging those words so that it wasn't like new vocabulary when they hear it again. They've been hearing it from me the whole entire quarter, but I just kind of kept like interchanging concrete detail, quote, evidence, example from the text, so that they can kind of see that those are all just like fluid terminology and they all mean the same thing. They told me the different pieces of evidence or different quotes, and then I would say, okay, and what does that show you about the character? And then I would abbreviate what they told me. You want to sit? Okay. She's sitting on the counter. And then I would abbreviate what they told me by writing up on the side, like in the margin of what I had projected up, so they could see how I was translating the full thoughts to like smaller notes. Because that's something that my students are still getting used to as well. As ninth graders, they're not used to being responsible for taking their own notes. They're used to a teacher telling them what to write down, and I'm not. You can have a banana in just a sec. Yeah, go ahead. Maybe not this knife though. I'll move the knife. Yeah, they're used to their teachers telling them what to write as notes, versus now they're starting to transition to being responsible for their own learning and figuring out what the important stuff is and how to like translate to like smaller note-taking style writing. So we were working on that today. No, mommy's okay. Thank you though. Thank you. No, mommy's kind of full, but thank you. No, I'm okay. No, I'm good. Thank you. Yeah. No. No, I'm okay. No, thank you. I'm still full.
Big one?
No, I'm still full from the last time you asked, but thank you.
Okay.
I sure do love you. So, yeah, just that kind of slow process. Like I said, I try to distill things down and just really simplify and focus on the task at hand. And where I used to teaching annotations say, okay, so you're looking for identifying setting and character and symbols and all of these things, and we would do it with Of Mice and Men with my freshmen right off the bat. And I realized they were just coloring the text with their highlighter and like, they just weren't really digging into these skills as quickly as I wanted them to. So I'm trying something simpler this time around. It's cold. I know it's cold in our house.
A new one.
Oh, it's too cold. You need a new one. Okay, well, as long as it's not open, it's fine. So, sorry about the breaks in conversation. This is talking to a mom. If any of you do not have small children or are not remembering what this was like when you had small children, all of my conversations are broken. Whether I'm at school and I have 9th and 10th graders talking to me while I'm trying to think, or this little button, you know, and I just get used to it, and some of my conversations fall off in the middle, and that's okay. So, so she's gonna need me pretty soon, so I better sign off here. But yeah, I will keep on, I'll try and do some more Watch Me Teach later on this week. But for now, I will bid you adieu. Thank you so much for watching. If you've not already subscribed, take a second to do so and click the little bell down by the subscribe. Almost down by the subscribe button so that you don't miss these quasi-daily classroom vlogs that I've been putting out, because I have to tell you guys, you, by watching these, are helping me be a much more effective teacher, because it's making me really think about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Outside. We're in front of a window. So thank you for that. Keep the comments coming. I really do read every single one. I try to answer as many as I can. And if I don't answer, please know that I have read and I appreciate, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. You guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye. Okay, say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Mwah. Bye.